Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kriti Tiwari. So today we are gonna do a very simple landscape. I thought about doing a northern lights with mountain and the reflection of that northern lights, right? So we're gonna do that and keep it very simple. So let's start by drawing the mountain. And I'm using a sketchbook. The sketchbook is also made of Bohong watercolor papers, so they have kind of become my favorite papers. For the paints, I think you can use any artist grade materials should be fine. And then for the paints paper, right? So make sure that your paper is 300 GSM and above. Any brand that works fine for you, I think would be okay. So let's say okay, the mountain is here and then here. Okay, and then this area would be the reflection. Here we are going to do northern lights. So we'll start by wetting our paper. We'll thoroughly wet our paper. Please check out the watercolor basics playlist if you're not familiar about these ones. Okay, so now my paper is all wet and we can start with the northern lights. So the colors that I am using for creating northern lights would be aqua blue, then chrome green light, right, and then some indigo blue as well, indigo a portion, right? So make the dark portions of it. So I've got this one supervision watercolor and this is cobalt turquoise, and I really like the color of this. I feel that this looks very good when we are painting northern lights. Okay, you will find the same color in other brands also. So I hope that the brand is never a limitation of what we want to do. Okay, so let's start by putting that color. You can decide what format you want to do, right? So this time I have lot of times I have done like from both the sides. I've kept that as a northern lights in the past, and this time I'm feeling we'll just go in one direction. Okay, so let's say this is the direction that I want to follow. So this is the direction that I'm gonna follow for my northern lights. Okay, and then here, so maybe all gets and then gets merged here basically is what I'm doing. Okay, so you can add some azure blue, the darker blue, right? So I'm taking some cobalt blue now. Okay, we'll add some cobalt blue as well. Wash my brush, and now we are gonna take green light. So what I do is I mix my lemon yellow with the green color that I have to form a very nice light green color, right? And when your light green color gets mixed with the other blue, it forms a different version of the green, and that we don't want to control a lot. so we can kind of keep it loose. Okay. Make sure that your paper is wet, because if the paper is wet, it allows us to do a lot. If our paper dries in mid, then the blending of the colors will not happen that much. So we want to form a vibrant green, because that's how it will look good. Okay. Once your colors are done and then you think that they are not forming or they are not blend correctly, just wet your brush and then in one direction just go over all your colors. So wet brush and then swipe across all the colors. Okay. Now I'm wetting the bottom part of the paper because I feel it is already dry enough. And so this is the water part that we are painting. So it will have a combination all the colors that we have in the sky, right? So we'll start with my aqua blue that we started. Okay. So once our aqua blue is done, we'll go ahead and then start putting some greens. Okay, and in some places I'm gonna do and then give a touch of cobalt blue, indigo, right? So something that actually tells ki we have painted. So above is a northern sky, so we have to give that feeling as well and make some parts a bit darker. Yeah. Yeah, I think it looks good. We can add something here. Okay, I think looks good. Okay, now we'll go and add a mountain. So we'll go ahead and then wet this paper. Some of the colors will flow into this, should be okay because we are anyways using brown for this, like the burnt sienna. Okay, so I think there's a lot of water on my brush. So what do I do to reduce the water, a lot of water on my brush? I'll go and then dab it on the cloth so that the extra water is out, and then I can come in and then put some colors, right? If there is a lot of extra water, you can use your tissue or cloth, whatever you are using, to dab it. Okay, so that's the base color for the mountain. Okay, this is the base color. Now what you can do, you can either mix Payne's gray in your burnt sienna and make it darker, or you can make use of ultramarine blue and then start dropping that ultramarine blue to make your burnt sienna a bit darker at certain places, right? Moreover, the bottom part, which is like attached to the lake, the reflection of the water, right? So here what I'm doing is I'm just dropping that ultramarine. So I'm dropping ultramarine and then mixing that with burnt sienna. It's gonna form something sort of a Payne's gray. Okay. all these concepts are very well taught in my watercolor basics playlist, so do check that out. It covers everything from color theory to the watercolor washes and all sorts of stuff, right? Would be very useful. I'm mixing a little bit of Indian red to my burnt sienna at some places. Okay, yeah, and now we'll just go ahead and mix. Drop some ultramarine at the bottom here. So if you are seeing, I am not mixing it, right? I'm just dropping the color and I will let it do the job. So I will just drop colors. Okay. Washing my brush. For the texture, I'm thinking I will just go and then drop some water to create some texture on the mountain. This is optional. If you want, you can do it or just leave it. Right? Okay. Now before I finished it, right, I would want this to dry up because the sky area is also dry and my bottom area is also dry. So what we want the overall area to be dried up before we proceed to the next level. Okay, so I will just make this one dry and then we'll proceed to the next level. Okay, so my paper is dry, like it's semi dry. I'm just gonna use it to correct the shape of my mountain. Okay, so I'm just taking a bit of a diluted paint, not too much, so anything that has gone out dry and then try to blend with the sky, we'll just correct it. Okay, and then if you want, you can also do like some kind of a dry brushing to improve the textures, but I think we have found enough textures when we were adding this ultramarine at the bottom of the mountains. Okay, I just feel we will just use ultramarine and then a combination of burnt sienna and ultramarine, and then just create that segregation between this mountain and this sky. This is some sort of reflection already going down there, which I think is good enough to show the reflection of the mountain on the water. So I think it's still correct. Okay, now the next step that I'm gonna do, is optional. So you can make some ripples over there if you want to show the ripples, but I think we have already done a lot of ripples wet on wet, so won't be doing extra. It would look like a calm feeling, right? So the sky is lit, the reflection is on the water, and then it gives a very calm feeling to the overall painting. So I think I'm done. This would be the simplest exercise. Now you can do a variation of the colors on the northern lights, maybe do a mix of cobalt blue, crimson, right, and then some of the aqua green. So you can do mix and match, have some violet color in there instead, so your violet, crimson and mauve, and then the blue. So you can form northern lights colors of your choice and then create a variation of this. Now you can also do variation in terms of adding mountain maybe of the black color, right? So mountain can be a black color instead. So yeah, overall I think this is the idea. Now you can expand it and then do another version of any landscape of your choice. Okay, so yeah, I think it's time to remove the paints. Make sure that your painting is dry enough before you remove it, and I'm gonna reuse these tapes. So yeah yeah, I do that. Okay, so I use these fancy washi tapes for my YouTube, and then I reuse them for my next set of paintings. So at least I will reuse them twice before I discard them. Yeah, but I check if they have like a lot of paint on them, I don't reuse them, but if not, then why not, right? Okay, so I think I'm good. Thanks for joining everyone. I hope you enjoyed this artwork. If you have any suggestion, recommendations on what kind of tutorials you would like me to bring in, please mention them in the chat box and I'll be able to bring it to you guys. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye bye.